I'm a big fan of the Netflix show The Crown. I'm currently watching the last season, and I just saw the episode where Princess Margaret dies. She had a series of strokes, and each one took a little bit more of who she was and what made her a special lady and gave her dignity. I'm in the 60th year of my life, and the older I get, the more I've come to understand that I will suffer the indignity of seeing more and more of my friends and family die. I've seen too many already. I lost two very dear friends recently, one of whom died suddenly and the other wasted away from cancer. What made his death especially difficult was the fact that he was a bear of a man, so full of life, yet he had to sit by while cancer took his strength, his energy, his dignity, and ultimately his life. I read an article in the Chicago Sun-Times this week about a woman with a rare form of terminal cancer. Her name is Deb Robertson. She's 65 years old, and she knows that if the cancer is allowed to run its course, it will be an excruciatingly painful death. She doesn't want her loved ones to remember her like that. She's advocating for a right to die bill called the Medical Aid in Dying Measure that would allow her to take life-ending medication rather than suffer the indignities of a terribly painful death. She feels like helping to get that bill passed is her final purpose here on earth. Do I agree with Deb that she should have the right to end her own life with dignity? Damn right I do. I've owned a number of pets in my life, all of whom I've loved dearly. And every time one of those pets became so sick they were in awful pain, I took them to the vet to be euthanized. And do you know what we call that? We call it mercy. We call it a kindness. Our final gift to a beloved friend. We don't force our pets to gut it out until they die naturally. We don't think, gee, I'd love to put an end to your suffering, but that wouldn't be right. I lost my dog Maggie a little over a year ago. About 6 months before her death, the vet told me she had cancer and it would eventually take her life. Then one day she just quit eating, and I knew the end was near. I didn't realize how sick she was until the day she died. She went outside and threw up an enormous amount of blood. I immediately went inside and called the vet and told him it was time. It was really past time, and I felt terrible that I had allowed her to suffer more than necessary, but at least I was able to end her suffering that day. Rest in peace, big girl. We all have the right to live. We fight for that right, just as we should. But we also should have the right to die on our own terms. When stenosis was taking away the strength in my arms and legs, and an online doctor thought I had ALS, I started to think how I wanted to end my life. Would I have to travel to a state where assisted suicide is legal? Would I have to try to poison myself before I became too paralyzed to do it? I hope I don't have to make that decision, but if I do, I hope I have the right to do it legally. I went to visit my dad about a week before his death, and he could still get to the bathroom on his own with the aid of a walker. He was eaten up with cancer, and one of his legs had been amputated, but he refused to give in to it. He was in the bathroom at his house when I heard him shouting my name. I ran in to see what was wrong, and he had fallen trying to get up from the toilet. I had to pick him up and put him in his wheelchair, and the minute he asked me to do that was the minute I knew the end was near. My dad was a proud man, and I knew it killed him to have to ask me to do that, but he didn't want me to see him so weak. And when my time comes, I don't want my wife or my kids or my granddaughter to see me like that or remember me like that. My dad passed away a week later while under hospice care. We all should have the right to die the way we want to. It's a personal decision and shouldn't be made by some politicians who don't even know us or a religion to which we don't belong. As for me, I hope I have a lot of years left, but no matter when my time comes, at least give me my dignity and let me go out with my boots on. Here's hoping Deb Robertson gets that chance as well. As always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.